Welcome to Big Brother. Every time we always do Big Brother at the beginning of one of these, we always say it loud enough where it like peaks and you can't hear anything. So shout outs to McKenna for that every Monday. How did it feel to watch that episode? Initial reaction.
This week was kind of wild because Tucker's just a wild card. This episode kind of had the promise of something interesting happen, and then, the predictable happened. So instead, we kind of got a very, very pathetic AI arena. And a lot of Brooklyn trying to rationalize with a bunch of people who can't seem to think rationally at this point.
But you could be the biggest Brooklyn hater in America like I am and think it's the best episode ever. Let's go! I was literally counting votes. I was like, what sucks was one time, we're going to be bouncing around. Good Lord. I don't think there's any kind of structure in this at all because McKenna usually writes her notes out, but I just want to go. It was embarrassing for the AI arena. And if any of those three people come out of there and go I felt good about that, or it feels like I was super close, or I was just one thought away. All three of those people that we saw, thank God the rest of the house couldn't watch that, because I think they would get put up week after week to be these are not strong competitors. They do not have the wherewithal to figure this out. They will fall under pressure. And I think one of my favorite sayings that's ever been said in reality TV history is Little Mama on a season of The Challenge versus celebrities, All Stars versus Celebrities, whatever they were calling it, where it was mentally she's a bum. And I want to go ahead and introduce that topic of Brooklyn is mentally a bum, of she needed to win an HOH on the wall and she didn't get top 4. She didn't get close. And she said, this is the most important thing. I'm going to show him. And it's shut up or put up. Lose. And now it's veto time. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to go over there. I'm going to win that veto. I'm going to shove it in his face. And Tucker is going to fear me. Tucker's afraid of me. It's what reality are you in? And then it's hide and go veto. Because we got to talk all about Wednesday too. Hide and go veto. Instead of actually trying to find other things, she's taking the time to throw people's clothes out. And I think some people are oh, she mothered the motherverse there. There is some thought process of that if she's getting back. But what's better than getting back at, oh, I made your clothes a little crinkly wrinkle of I won the veto and now you're going home next week. And it did not seem like she was focused. It did not seem like she has a killer instinct. And it's all lip service. Obviously she's good at saying stuff in the confessionals, but you actually have to cast people that, I'm not saying Brooklyn's a bad cast, but what I am saying is you can find people that are well-spoken because they won the fake Miss America, Mrs. America. And oh, I'm going to be able to say what you want me to say of, I'm going to go out there and win that AI arena and shove it in Tucker's face next week. And then literally when it's time and the lights are up and it's live TV and you can't do a redo and go 3, 2, I'm going to win that AI arena. It's time to shut up or put up. It's the AI arena. It's a simple word puzzle. I don't know if they see the intro thing that we see of underwater space money cat or whatever it was. And then the same example is immediately underwater again. It's do you recognize elephant backwards? Do you know what that word is? Bouquet is maybe the hard word here. But all three of those players, I thought for a second whenever they did oh, this is a live TV show and we're basically going to give you 2 of the 3 answers. I thought it was interesting because it kind of rotated when oh, Brooklyn was out there and probably saw it first. Brooklyn saw it first and did nothing with it. And I was just I don't want to pretend I would go on these reality shows and win every challenge. I'm not saying that at all. But this felt 97% of the fan base could have won the AI arena tonight because of how bad it was. And it does make sense that it reminds you of Big Brother 20 when it's time for Caitlyn to put this puzzle together. It's a quick 8-piece puzzle. You have 2.5 minutes, and she doesn't do it. And that's what it felt like. Is Caitlyn mentally a bum? I don't think so. She won an HOH. She did some stuff. She just cracked under pressure once. I feel like it was a complete meltdown for Brooklyn of everything. Do not come for a mother scorned from Texas. It's all lip service. If you're a Brooklyn fan, I was saying Brooklyn was playing one of the best games after week 2. It's crazy to see where her game went from week 2 to week 5. I think that's when you study and go, how badly did they play to go from I'm basically a top 2 power ranking to I'm out unanimously, except my mastermind friend who knows I'm taking the bullet for them will give me a vote. That was a lot.
That was a lot. And it's really interesting just looking at Brooklyn's game, because where did it go wrong? It's seemingly her and Chelsea were in the best position in this house for so long. I mean, granted, like, we're 5 weeks in, and it's not that long into it, but they seem to be in a very commanding position up through Chelsea's HOH, and potentially even the next one after that. But instead, somehow, it becomes very evident that the two of them are working very closely together. It becomes very evident that Brooklyn has her hand in everyone's cookie pot, and it's just like trying to be in an alliance and a final two with literally everyone. And instead, I think the big thing is when during that knockout comp, and Brooklyn can't handle it, that Angela put her up twice, and then all of a sudden we get to see Brooklyn for what she is at that point. And the editors leaned into it hard this week, because let me tell you, there was no way these editors were letting you, America, vote for Brooklyn for AI Instigator, because they just decided to throw her under the bus at every moment. Now, granted, what she was saying in her diary rooms, what she was saying to people in the house, was enough to put her into this bad light in the first place. But the editing did no favors to Brooklyn. They made her look like she is the most stuck-up, conceited person in the entire world. And what are we supposed to, like, how are we supposed to feel after seeing her go? We're going to be like, yeah, good. And I think the editors are kind of just lucky that Brooklyn bombed so hard on this challenge, because she had the first two and then could not figure out that last one at all. And because of that, she's still in the block and gets out of here. We don't get the interesting vote, and we don't have just like this tarnished house guest in the house for another week.
I think one more thing about Brooklyn that's in my head is, hi, I'm Julie Chen. Love one another. She's like, Brooklyn's also saying some like, I feel highly blessed and highly favored, or blessed and highly favored. Like, I know that from RuPaul's Drag Race with Heidi in Closet, of like, that's her tagline. Like, now I know it's a real, like, people say that on purpose. But Brooklyn, you're outside talking to Julie, and she is saying some stuff, and here's your messages. Angela's a little mad you ate her food. And it's a complete experience everyone's ever had of, in the where you work, you put some food in the fridge and someone took it, and you want to fight that person because, why are you eating my food? It's mine. And instead of doing anything like, oh, I didn't know she was mad about that, I'll apologize, she goes, it was gonna go bad. Which, that meat and that cheese is legitimately the, like, everyone in America knows that is the thing that you can leave that in the fridge. Like, this has been in here for 3 weeks. Like, it may still be good. Let me check online or whatever. Or like,
yeah,
it's something where you're like, just say like the exit press tomorrow is a good indicator of, are we going to listen to anything Brooklyn has to say for the rest of our lives? Because if she doubles down and goes, well, yes, there's feeds, but you don't see everything. Because that was a move that some people from Taylor's season did. of like Taylor was actually bullying us the whole time, and when we were
Mhm.
bullying her, it was just to get back. And like, I hope Brooklyn can see the like, oh, you know what? Tucker is playing super strong. I was against him. It was he already had 7 people on his side. I didn't want to be the 8th. I thought it would come around. I wish I was a little luckier in competitions. But you know what? You live and you learn. Like, if she goes like, they're stupid, they didn't keep me, they're all gonna get last place and they might as well write Tucker the check now, it'll be like, girl, how can they trust you? Because you did vote Rubina out and you told her to her face. Like, I think that's, if we're going to pinpoint where she lost, her taking the time to tell Rubina, you're going home exactly, basically a week and 30 minutes ago, was
Mhm.
death defyingly stupid. Of like, it's not going to work out for you. And so the last thought of this is, if she doesn't lie, if she goes to Tucker and goes, you know what? Yes, I wanted Rubina to go home because Cedric was closer to me. It's basically like choosing between 2 of my children. And it really sucked. And I thought everyone was voting Cedric out. So now I kind of stick out like a sore thumb. But there's a bunch of people I hate in here more than you, Tucker. Like, these people all left me out to dry. She probably sticks it. Like, she could not figure out, like, it's who's going to be closest to Tucker stays. And if
Mhm.
you say I'm on the exact opposite side, you're going to get hammered here. So like, I don't know. That's enough about Brooklyn. There's a lot of other stuff going on here.
Yeah, and that's just what it is. But you know what? Brooklyn's out of here. We still had an exciting pair of episodes, I think. Like, despite today kind of unfortunately getting to a point where the AI arena really determined how exciting the back half of this episode was going to be. Uh, but yesterday's episode was still kind of exciting.
Yeah, yesterday's episode was one of the funniest. Like, I do think pound for pound, the 3-minute charcuterie Angela stuff is probably top 5 funniest moments in Big Brother history. And just the aftermath of like the jokes online. We didn't have internet the same type of way for maybe Big Brother 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, we had like upload it later and talk to it, or
Mhm.
maybe I was a little bit too young to be on the exact like, here's the jokes as they're happening. Twitter did not exist until like Big Brother 10 or something. But like, it's so funny. Somebody, the best tweet of all time is like, God bless the dinosaur that died and turned into the gas that went into Angela's car that drove her to the place to buy her computer to like to apply for Big Brother this year. And I was like, that is like the funniest joke structure I've ever heard of in my whole life.
It's so ridiculous, but it fits so perfectly. I mean, like you said, just watching Angela lie on the floor in defeat as Brooklyn stands there eating her charcuterie is so funny. And it's a no-no. Like you said, like, you don't eat other people's food, especially when they're a have-not. That is like the biggest slap in someone's face you could possibly do in the Big Brother house. And Angela's reaction's gold. I can't believe there were people here these first couple of weeks saying they wanted Angela out of this house. I want Angela here till the very end. And right now, it's starting to look like she might be, because she is not the house pariah anymore. And I hope so, because we have
She,
this. Last week,
she's
we didn't
probably
even
gonna
talk
win
to
an
her like
HOH, right?
lying on the ground to listen under a door. Like, she is phenomenal television. And there is nothing more I could want out of Big Brother.
I think best HOHs and who's going to try for it. Does Chelsea have it in her? And I think most of the people that voted for Brooklyn to go, there's 8 of them. I think everyone besides Mackenzie, Leah, maybe Joseph, maybe Rubina. That's already too many. Like, Mackenzie and Leah and Chelsea should be trying for HOH. I think everyone else should throw it. Of like, not my time to show where I stand. And like, the last 3 people that aren't nominated are Joseph, T-Core, and Leah. And I think that got spread around the house a little bit. So maybe that's a like, oh, it's just your time to be a pawn. Like, I think this would be a good week for Joseph to win, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be part of his strategy whenever he's straight up telling us during the hide and go veto, like, I want mine to be found very early so I can keep up my persona of like, I have no idea what I'm doing, which is, that's a cool strategy.
It is. And it was also juxtaposed with him hiding something in the exact same place Chelsea hid some, or Brooklyn hid something in order for it not to be found. And it was so funny.
Yeah, like, oh, no one will find this in the dirty laundry bag that is zipped up, and like, that is like such a mom thing of like,
Yeah.
ooh, how do I look dirty? Like, zit, like, you're like, what?
And then Joseph just comes in afterwards and he's like, I'm going to do the exact same thing because I want this to be found as soon as possible.
Sheesh. I felt bad for Mackenzie that like, that was a pretty good hiding spot, but like Tucker finds it in 8 seconds. I was like, oh my God. Like,
It was probably the first place I would check. But I mean, that's kind of the thing with hide and go veto, though. Sometimes the hardest thing with hide and go veto is people second and triple, like, you're always guessing and guessing. You only have 2.5 minutes to hide the thing, but you're always guessing whether or not your hiding spot's good enough because you're like, oh, this is a great first hiding spot. Oh, but I thought of that first. Does that mean everyone else is going to think of it first and check here first?
Yeah, where are you hiding your veto, John?
I don't know. Honestly, Tucker's spot was genius.
Yeah. Because I think that's been on. Was there a veto on Was there a hide go veto on Mickey's season or no?
Yes, there was. But the
feel
veto
like-
was like big and round. It was like the actual veto symbol that time, if I remember correctly. So it was a little harder to hide. It's just hard to hide in a place. And like Tucker literally jimmied the drawers so he could stick it behind them. It was quite impressive where he figured out to hide that. I don't know where mine would be. We saw Cam's ideas of like looking for, or Cam and Quinn both were like looking for zippers on pillows and stuff like that. But apparently Big Brother was ahead of the curve this season and didn't do that. So I don't know. I'm tall though, so maybe I just put it somewhere high.
Wait, how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
That's 3 Rubinas. Oh my
I know.
God.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
See, Rubino wouldn't even be able to find a veto that I hit.
Jeez. I think there is you got to keep it somewhere.
I would imagine there has to be
that's the only
that's
the only thing we're actually thinking of you could go as low but not as high as you want. I think what's interesting too that I want to kind of share, not with the fan base, but like, this is what I think Tucker is good at. Of like, I'm not doing anything the whole time in Big Brother house. And like, I'm thinking about these challenges more than you are thinking about this. Like, he washes it under, or sweeps it under the rug by saying like, I'm the youngest of 3 brothers. Of course I know how to hide something. But like, I think Tucker is way more focused than any single person. And like, I think these people have to kind of figure out how to rattle him of like, I don't think it's going to be easy enough to be like, Tucker, don't try that hard. You don't need to win this one. He's going to win every time. It maybe, you're maybe going to have to be like, dude, did you see Joseph and Rubina kissing? Has that been happening the whole time? Like, as you're walking out.
Yeah.
And like, but like, sometimes the anger fuels him more. But like, what I'm trying to say is, it felt like he had the best spot. He spent 0 time thinking it up. He's like, I'm going to hide it in a drawer underneath behind another drawer. I don't know if he thought it up while he was back home, or I watched a season of this from the Big Brother Australia or something when they did. I don't know how prepared he is, but it just feels like he's on another plane level of, I'm going to rush and go find. He only found Mackenzie's. The other 4 were found by other people in the thing. But like, at no point were anybody that we saw even looking in his drawer. So it's like, okay, interesting.
I think even with like the placement of his veto, I think if you look in the drawer, you're going to look in the drawer, not behind the drawer, right?
Right.
So if
At
you
least
pull
the
that
first
drawer out,
hour. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You pull that drawer out and you're like, oh, okay, there's nothing here. There's nothing hiding under anything in the drawer. My first inclination when I have 2 minutes to search the house is not to look behind the drawer.
Right.
But I mean,
That is a solid minute 3 of checking drawers.
yeah, exactly. Like you have to get everywhere else on the drawer first. I'm probably checking under the drawer, then I'll get behind it. But Tucker's just kind of becoming more impressive in this house as the season goes on, and that's kind of surprising for this player who seemed like this comic relief character at the beginning of the season, was just beefing with Lisa, and that was it. Then all of a sudden starts like winning challenges, gets blindsided by Cedric, and then like swears his revenge against him, swears against Quinn, that he's pulling Quinn off the block this week after he put Quinn on the block this week. And at the same time, everyone in the house loves him. Like,
which is cool. Like I think this is a new strategy that we haven't seen in a long time or ever. And like the one thing you just highlighted, which I think is probably one of the most unique moments of strategy I've seen in a long time, is I hate this guy. Quinn is my target. I get Brooklyn and Cam in a room together and go, I'm not lying to you guys. I'm lying to the other guy. And then you tell Quinn, shut up. If I win veto, I'm going to use it on you. And Quinn is like, I don't believe this at all. But the thought of, because I'm using my veto on you and it's different from what I told other people, people are going to assume you sold out everyone. Mm-hmm. You are the leaky part in this pipe, whatever the hell this analogy is going to be. You're the squeaky mouse that squawk. And so like people like Chelsea, it's interesting. Everyone is being so mean to Quinn, of like Tucker's like, why did you throw my clothes everywhere? Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's not me. Please don't say that. It's not me. I promise. And then they talk and it's whatever. And then Chelsea, 5 seconds into this episode, is like, well, Quinn, I know it's you that sold me out because you're the one who came off and I'm going on. Like, how am I supposed to think anything differently? And like, whatever is reality and whatever is in these people's minds, like, I think there will be a lasting thing of like, Quinn is persona non grata. I'm not going to tell him any secrets, because who is he telling? He blew up our alliance to T-Core and Chemo. I haven't said Chemo's name yet. Holy crap. Kind of a not slower episode for him, but kind of a cool down. He sold us out to them, and now he maybe sold out to Tucker to get himself out. And it's just like, why would you tell any secrets to Quinn at this point?
Maybe we are buying into like the cult of personality of Tucker at this point. But is he just a genius Big Brother player? Like you said, he puts Quinn on the block. Everyone knows he's going after Quinn, so it makes sense that Quinn's on the block. It wouldn't make sense if he didn't put Quinn on the block. Then he uses the veto on Quinn. And it's very clear, like you said, it's clear that Chelsea thinks he sold her out and everything. He is isolating Quinn from the rest of the house to have as his own number, but also in a way where everyone else in the house will target Quinn for him, and he doesn't have to anymore. Is he just next leveling Big Brother right now, and we just don't understand it because it's too far out of our concept of reality television?
I think this is the high reward of the high risk. And we have seen the other side of this, of our friend Dr. Will Kirby did high risk, high reward the other way. Of, I'm going to take myself out of any decision of power for an entire season and just play from, it wasn't me. I didn't have that. It was, and like manipulate the votes, manipulate the noms if I can. And I think this is the flip side of that, of I'm going to be the decision maker 5 or 6 times in a row. Normally we share. Normally we go, we're gonna go to Raising Cane's today, and then maybe we go to KFC tomorrow. And then you really like chicken tacos? Okay, we'll go to Pollo Loco. I'm trying to do chicken places. But like Tucker is like, we're going to Raising Cane's 6 days in a row because I have a gift card. And everyone's like, I mean, Raising Cane's not my favorite. The lines are pretty long. I guess I'll go. And then it's like, oh, I really like this combo. I've never had chicken like this before. Oh, you can switch out the coleslaw for more bread? Like, I've never had bread this good. And then it's like, to get off the analogy, because what the hell am I doing? But like, whenever someone is winning everything and making every decision and it's not really going bad for you, the passive players can play even more passively. And it's just, Tucker has the trophy head of whoever does kill him is going to be the new king. So you kind of want to be the one that takes him out. But if that doesn't happen till Final 5, it really only, like, to win the game of Big Brother, you only have to play like from Final 5 on, which is going to be like, I don't think if Tucker gets past Final 6, this will be the Tucker season, and it'll be like, well, who cares that Chemo really won? It was the Tucker season. Or like, yeah, T-Core was behind most of the decisions in the early game, but she never won HOH until Final 3. Like, Tucker's the main and I think that'll be well, that makes sense because he's going to have the most confessionals. He's going to have the most decisions. He's 4 competitions away from tying the all-time record of competitions. And they said today, AI Arena is not over.
No.
So they didn't announce jury, but they also did not say like, don't, like, Julie was like, there's an AI Arena. There's also a 2-hour episode on Wednesday, so I don't know what the hell we're going to do that day.
Yeah, but what's that all about? Is that's just an extra hour of pranks for the AI instigator?
Oh my god, I hope so. But truly, they also didn't tell us who the AI instigator is, which I don't know.
No, they said they were revealing it on Sunday, right?
Yeah, so I was like, I guess it makes sense that we didn't see it today, but like, who do you think is going to be AI instigator?
It's Tucker. It's obviously Tucker.
It's going to be Tucker. like it's something where it's like, it's the high school. Let's go back to high school. Who's the person at your high school that was like so popular where it's like, do you want to be class president? Because if you do, you'll probably win. But are you going to do all the work to be class president? But like, Tucker is the most popular person, but he's also doing all the work to be class president. And it's like, how could you find him unlikable? Because like, if you were a middle player, or if you were on the outs for the Quinn, what is going on with Quinn? I don't really understand. And Tucker gets up during the veto ceremony, which we haven't really talked about, which is crazy because we're all about Brooklyn. We're all about Tucker. It's like literally like 2 storylines, and one of them's gone now. But like, what was crazy about the veto ceremony is he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is the name of the alliance. And then in that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think because some of those people maybe don't know that at that point.
Yep.
Because we have all the information, and it may be, oh wow, 2 weeks too late. For some of those people, it's brand new information. And like the Mackenzie and Leah, I thought it was a very interesting, like, we want Rubina to talk negatively about Tucker of he's hanging out with Leah and Mackenzie too much, or he's hanging out with Cam too much. And it's like, but he's not doing the thing. Like, it feels like Quinn wakes up at 9 a.m. and he's like, I got to talk to this person at 10. I got to talk to them at 11, because being a good Big Brother player means you talk to it truly feels like, and I don't know if I'm getting misled by Tucker too. I could be this stupid, but like, Tucker feels very genuine when he's talking in those things. And like, I watched a bunch of feed stuff on Twitter. Thank you. And then at least one night I picked some feeds to watch. And Tucker talks very directly to you, and goes, oh, interesting. If you have a problem, I'll help you. It feels like I don't know, is he the class president or big brother, or like big, like he's your brother that's older than you, or like what persona is it? Because he's not mean, and
No.
he's not rolling his eyes as he's talking to you, and he is kind of saying like, "Oh, I can't wait to get out of here and we can play with my dog and I can meet your friend." Like, and it's something where like some of those people just say that to try and get closer to you, but it really feels like Tucker means that. The thing that hasn't been shown on the episode, I'm talking a mile a minute, I should shut up, sorry about this, is Tucker and Joseph are way closer. Do you know that?
Yeah, I do know that. Yeah, I'm keeping up with the feeds. So yeah, Tucker, like Joseph, essentially swore his fealty to Tucker this week. Just Cam talk and not Cam, the person in the house who, if you watched the episode today, you might have actually realized was in the house.
Oh, shoot.
But like to a camera was like, yeah, I'm intending to take Tucker all the way to the end of this game because I can totally beat him. And like, this is how good of a social game Tucker's playing. He has people literally saying, I'm going to take you to the end. It's JT in Survivor Token Jeans.
If JT won every immunity and every time people were clapping for him, like, let's go. I hope Tucker gets nominated this week. I think that's an interesting layer of this because I think he'll win the veto.
Yeah.
And if they do backdoor him, I know the other two nominees should do their damnedest to not be against Tucker. Or here's what I'm trying to say. If you're a nominee in the AI arena with Tucker, I would almost plan to be up against not Tucker. Because if you are up against Tucker, you would just like hope everyone takes a shot. If you don't want to, I get it. I have not done better than Tucker to make you feel at peace and make you think I'm on your side more. Like that's a losing battle unless you're like, I want to take the shot. Great. But I would be doing the opposite of like Tucker. I'm throwing the AI arena to you because you're going to beat me anyway. But I'm going to make sure your 33% chance goes to 50%, but help me take out the other person. Take out the other person over me. I will campaign and then blah, blah, blah. And we'll just plan on you winning it and help me campaign against that other person. Like, I think that's where the next, like the meta is changing of Big Brother of how do we deal with AI Arena. The first person who thinks like being up against Tucker is either a death sentence or not a death sentence. Let's figure this out. To half the house, I'm going to go, if I'm up there against Tucker, take the shot. But to Tucker, I go, help me campaign. I know you're going to win. Let's just have that be the reality that we plan for and not do the third option or whatever. Because what is Tucker going to lose?
At this point, who knows, right? Like he's winning. Hide and go veto is technically like supposed to be that like anyone can win challenge, and he blew circles around the entire house somehow. Like it was just like blew them out of the water. And the thing is like even if Tucker's on the block at this point, who's voting for him to go out? Like, yes, we had a big story talk about Rubina, like the big push. I love how much Rubina we got today and how it was like, no, I'm here for my game. I'm not here to play a man's game. Like, great to hear her saying that in the DR. Does she mean it? Well, when push comes to shove, will she vote out her showmance?
Good question. She's literally shouting out his dog for him.
Yeah.
And then going, yes, honey bun, I shouted out your dog, and scratching his back.
Yeah.
On the live show. Like
is that something that she's going to do? Doubtful. But on top of that, are Chemo and T-Core going to turn on Tucker? Maybe. We've seen them, like, obviously they were planning this potential backdoor of, like, going against Tucker's wishes and voting out Cam over Chelsea if that came to be the people on the block this week. So they seem to be the most willing people to flip a vote. I just don't know if they can if Tucker's on the block because Angelo was taken off the block with a veto from Tucker and is, like, indebted to him now. Quinn has also been taken off the block by Tucker. And like Quinn is probably the best bet of someone taking a shot at Tucker. But if Quinn's HOH and the person who puts him up, then he can't vote. And you almost need some other person who would vote to keep Tucker to put Tucker up, but then they're not putting Tucker up. And Leah and Mackenzie are just fighting over which one of them's closer to Tucker at this point.
It would be interesting because the HOH that would put up Tucker would have to put up 2 people that are close to Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do Angela, Rabina, Tucker. And let's say Chelsea won the HOH because I think she's the most like gung-ho to do this. And then if you take out like these 4 people, there's 11 people. So there's 7. No. There's 11 people in the House. So 11 minus 4 is 7 voters. That doesn't make any sense. But then you get one back. Okay, so it'll be a 4-4 tie with a vote. Okay, well, we got there because we get one back.
Yeah.
So 7 voters to start out. Which permutation of these, like, if Leah and Mackenzie are that close to him, Rabina's up. I said Rabina, Angela. So it does come down to, like, is Quinn going to, I'm going to vote him out the first possible thing. Like, I think Quinn needs to be like, I was probably going home this week if other people had their way again. Like, and I don't know if he has the wherewithal to, like, truly think outside the box of, like, here's the game I want to play and here's the game that I could possibly play from now on. But, like, he's burned so many bridges. It literally is the voters are, I'm not making any sense, but it's like, is Cam going to go after him? Or is it like, no, Tucker said he's not going to mess with me anymore. I believe him. Y'all go for it. Like, Quinn is in that boat too.
It literally has to be like T-Core, Chemo, Quinn, Cam. And
that's not going to happen. It's not
going to happen. Like, it's not going to, and because Tucker's also been working on Cam all week. Right. And is like telling Rabina he's not scared of him. He can beat Cam at everything, which has proven to be a fact at this point. And I mean, we're not really seeing Cam in the episodes at all, or really on the live feeds. He doesn't really do much. But like, is he going to go? Does he strike you as the type of player who is actually willing to put his neck out on the line, hoping that 3 other people are voting the same way as him so that Chelsea can break the tie to get Tucker out? I don't think so.
No. And, like, this is going to be the dumbest thing I've said in a long time. I played Big Brother games online for about 15 years of my life. And I'm still, this is a past tense, challenge beast. Like, it was computer games that are quicker than other people, puzzles. That's why the AI reading tonight, I'm like, I've done this 1,000 times of grab the elephant, grab the bouquet, like, oh, that one's that. Okay, cool. The first time I won, I broke the record for, like, most competitions ever won. And I, instead of, like, trying to throw at the right possible times, I just tried to win every time. And it had, like, a twist that season of, like, you could win HOHs back to back. And so it was like, there was no point in, like, even trying. And it was like 18 people to start. It was like a weird thing. There was, like, an AI type lifesaver that I also went after and got. And, like, I made it to the very end because no one, if you nominated me, that just gives me a chance to win veto. So, like, I was like, when I did lose HOH, I was like, don't worry, I didn't nominate you, right? You didn't nominate me. And, like, I partnered with the other alliance person, and it was like one weird thing at Final 5, but for the rest of the time, it was like, I'm going to win everything. And, like, still, I was awful social game and, like, barely won 4-3. But, like, I think the threat of winning everything, and that's a weird thing to bring into the real life Big Brother thing, because I don't know how many of our fans or whatever we're calling people that watch this stuff, because I don't know if you guys like it. But, like, it's really cool to know when you're backing your shit up that you can win every time, because that takes any doubt in people's minds of, like, your lies become truth. Your reality is now set in stone, and you get to dictate every single thing from the strategic and gameplay part of this. And if you are not an asshole to other people while you're doing this, if you're not eating their pizza when you're not supposed to, if you're not getting caught rolling your eyes when you're doing this, of like, and Tucker has been respectful enough in all these game talks. Like, I thought it was really cool. If you saw him talk to Brooklyn, that's the one I would go watch on Twitter if you didn't get to watch it. But it was like, Brooklyn, I do not believe anything you're saying to me. I know based on the things I've seen in everyday life and your body language, whenever you hug me, it's not as hard as everyone else. I know that you're not happy that I won. And
Mhm.
she's like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm a competitor and I'm just like, sucks that I didn't win. And he's like, yes, but the 4 other people that also lost veto are hugging me very hard and whatever. Like, he's explaining this later. And it's
Mhm.
something where, like, we're really hyping Tucker up here, but it just seems like he is playing so phenomenally well. Of He's not playing the perfect game,
No.
but he's playing Tucker's version of the perfect game. And there was a thing from Tommy from Big Brother 21 of like, oh, he's kind of like, because he's not playing by the Derek rules of how to make it through pre-jury, he's the sanctity of Big Brother is being, and it was like, everyone was like, shut up, dude. And like, truly, I hope this inspires another round of people that are like, not, I don't want to be Tucker as soon as I get in there, but like, between Tucker and Angela, it's a lot more fun when you are trying to like not only go out of the way to make big TV of like, wake up everybody up at 8 a.m. and
Mhm.
go low budget film or whatever. And like, Tucker's like calling out alliances. I hope there's another alliance that gets made somehow in the next week where he calls it out again. It's just cool because we decided to do this Big Brother of like, Big Brother is like a summer show. We can talk to people during the summer and get some stuff going. But like 5 weeks later, I am like glued to my TV
Mhm.
during AI Arena. As soon as Chelsea didn't even hit it hard. She's like, and it's flashing white. I was like, let's go. I'm in the AI Arena because like Brooklyn's going home and we can get that obstacle out of the house. And like, I will be refreshing my phone for the next like 5 hours to see who wins HOH.
Mhm.
And I kind of do that in normal seasons, but now I'm actually gonna go, wow, that's really interesting. Or if Rubina can win an HOH right now, it's kind of like, all right, now we have like a power showmance,
Yeah.
which hasn't happened in maybe like, I don't
Since
know if we're gonna
TV
count
21 probably.
21.
You could probably
Yeah,
count 21 for the end game.
I'm just not a big Holly fan, but
That's
like,
fair.
yeah. But she won some HOHs when it
Yeah.
was really
Yeah.
important. So yeah, 21 was probably the last showmance. Like, what were they doing getting rid of Tommy and
I don't know. But I
or
think the
yeah.
interesting thing with the way Tucker's playing is it's very easy for people who are fans of Big Brother to watch the way Tucker's playing. It's like, how are you doing this? How, like, is Tucker the luckiest guy ever? And he's clearly not playing a perfect game by like Derek's rules, like you mentioned, right? But he's playing the perfect game for this house. And I think a lot of people go into Big Brother thinking, I'm going to play the perfect game. And it's going to be this perfect game based on like this blueprint that's been laid out for years at this point. And it's not the way to approach a house you're in. Tucker is able to go into this house, uh, sow chaos in a way where none of it falls back on him somehow because everyone just loves him so much. Yeah, it helps that he's an attractive man and people are like have massive crushes on him and things like that. Definitely helps him. But at the same time, this type of chaos shouldn't work in a season of Survivor. You shouldn't be able to, you know, call out people at every single veto and it miraculously work out. Like the thing is his game is just built in a way where I don't even think he would care if he loses at this point, is the impression I get from his character.
And I think that's the okay, we just are excited about this. I think he's thinking about bigger picture than Bigger Brother.
Yeah.
Of like, you don't really get to go play Big Brother 5 times. Nobody's played Big Brother 5 times. Somebody's played it 4. So I'm already like, well, that's one less. But like, you're trying to, and then maybe I could get on Traders, and then maybe I could get on the challenge,
Mhm.
and then I just like travel to Istanbul, or that's the same place, Istanbul, Thailand, and Australia this year to go compete in 3 different reality shows. Like
Mhm.
normally this would happen, and then somebody would have won the AI arena against him because like if Quinn wins the put the balls up against the wall thing,
Yeah.
maybe Tucker goes against Kenny or some BS, or like Kenny randomly is really good at this and Kenny randomly wins. But like he's playing balls to the wall where you cannot talk about Big Brother Tucker 6. Oh my god, I even got it mistake. It's Big Brother 26, but it's all about Tucker. You cannot
Mhm.
talk about the show without talking about Tucker. That is the most important thing of what's their relationship with Tucker? What's your relationship with Tucker? That's all of the discourse online is like, I thought y'all guys hated competition beasts that win everything. And it's like, okay, but people are nuanced, like people are
Yeah.
complex. This is a nuanced situation. Like, is it because he's hot? Is it because he's voting out people that are this? And you're like, I don't know. I think it's just really cool. Like he's not being like, I feel bad about this. He's like literally calling people snakes and rats as he throws the thing in the corner. But like also people know that like he's literally just talking about a game. Like
Mhm.
clearly Brooklyn had hate in her heart outside of just the game stuff of like, I'm gonna throw your like her touching T Core's clothes is like unforgivable in my mind of like why are you messing with
Yeah.
this crochet shit where people are gonna step on it? Like I'm sure you know her story by now if she made those by hand. Like there's just some things where like where do you draw the line? I think when I was younger it'd be like everything's free game, but now that I'm a much older person that's had a life or whatever, it's like, okay, like I get not messing with food. That's why we got rid
Mhm.
of Lisa. I get not messing with clothes. Like this is all we really have to express ourselves or to
Mhm.
be individuals. That's the same word twice, but like I want my clothes to be what like that's what I have in this house. I don't have my other stuff. Please don't mess with the stuff I have. I'll be like, oh my god, of course. I'm so sorry. And like the fact that like Brooklyn bragged about it to Chelsea and laughed about it, doesn't understand the charcuterie thing even afterwards. We're kind of just saying the same thing again now, but like it's like that's the difference. Is Tucker is going to be likable because he's not doing anything with extreme malice. He
Mhm.
just literally wants to compete. And like, I think the funniest thing was somebody showed him on the feeds where he was like just in the pool by himself doing a headstand competition. And it's like, he's just bored.
Yeah.
And he's like a Siberian saber-toothed tiger megazord that's like trying to bat anybody into like play with me. And it's like, he's just that much better than you at the competitions.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very interesting. But who do you think in the house now is in the best position outside of Tucker? Because obviously we've spent most of 45 minutes talking about how insulated Tucker is in this house. Who is benefiting from Tucker being there the most, and who has the potential to actually oust him in the house at this point?
I think Angela is Angela is not going home
No.
for at least till final 6, and as long as she doesn't get crazy or like, unless they do the whole like, do we really want Angela to make jury? But like I think enough of them are like, I can deal with Angela at this point. Like I know who she is or whatever. This isn't really answering your question. So I think Joseph getting a little heat from Chelsea
Hmm.
is interesting. And I think Chelsea may. I'm fully expecting Chelsea to win HOH unless it's Leah or Mackenzie. I would almost bet 100% on those because everyone else is either like, I don't want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
So who would they put up? Chelsea would put up Tucker. I don't think she goes after Rubina. I think she puts up Tucker, Joseph, and Quinn, which I think would be a very interesting week because Joseph, you said you don't want to win competitions, but you are very smart.
Mm-hmm.
So your back's against the wall. Are you gonna hope you don't get voted out, or are you gonna like, actually, I came here to play, and like Joseph's the one who beats Tucker, and like, oh my god, I never expected that. Leah and Mackenzie, I think it's interesting that we always group them together because they don't really feel like final two partners.
Well, they aren't. They don't necessarily
Sometimes
like
they
each
don't
other.
even like each other. Yeah, like, but I think they're kind of in the same spot of like, Leah has gotten close to winning a couple HOHs, and
Mhm.
like, if you look at Leah's thing, she's voted Kenny, Lisa, Kenny, Cedric. So Matt is, or not Matt, Leah is Kenny, Lisa, Kenny, Cedric. So they both have done that. Voted wrong initially. Did not have that mess with them, except for America's Veto or whatever. And I guess Mackenzie was on the block. So yeah, Leah and Mackenzie, who do they go after is a very interesting thing of, do they go after the middle? They can't because they need the middle.
Mhm.
So they need to make and like, I think Leah's probably one of the closest people to Cam. So if she's on Team Tucker and puts up Cam and Chelsea, it's kind of like, that seems bad. Like, I think week 6 is going to be the most important.
I agree.
Like I know it seems stupid to win HOH, but like, there's an alliance getting made specifically in the next 4 days that will be the like defining one, I think.
I think that's what the big thing is at this point, because now we've had the two sides go at each other. Clearly, the 6th Avenue side has won. Like, the Pentagon's no more. Brooklyn's gone. There's 2 of them left. There's 3, but like, Quinn's just, trying to go
It's
anywhere that'll have him at this point.
a triangle turning into a line, turning into a dot is like
Yeah.
one of the most like, I don't know if Cam came up with that himself, but that's pretty funny.
Yeah. But now that means, where does the next power struggle come from? Because as much as Tucker is insulated and as much as Tucker is the center of the house, he can't remain that way. There has to be opposition because of like just the nature of the way this game goes. I don't know if I could tell you any single person's 3 nominees this week.
Right.
Like, I don't think I could with confidence tell you at all. I don't know if Chelsea does have the wherewithal to put up like Tucker, Joseph, and Quinn, or if she's like, I want Chemo and T4 up there because they are the ones who screwed us over in the first place.
And I think that is the middle game that T-Core and Chemo are playing of like, if they can avoid the next 3 HOHs in a row of not getting nominated at all, I think that'll be some phenomenal gameplay, but also like near impossible of like,
yeah,
it's one of those like, oh crap, it's final 9. Who are the unbreakable duos? Do I want to go after Tucker and Rubina? Or do I want to go, well, let's break up T-Core and Chemo right now. And like, most people, I think in that, most people would probably get Chemo out over T-Core. Like, T-Core feels the most safest player.
T-Core definitely has, I think, better relationships with some people. I think she's very close with, I mean, clearly she's close with Chelsea, as we saw in the episode with her wanting to protect Chelsea and like coming with that idea to Chemo in the first place. She's close. She's really close with Rubina. And yes, Chemo is too, but it seems like T-Core is a bit closer in that sense. I think T-Core could stand to lose Chemo. I don't know if Chemo could stand to lose T-Core at this point. But at the same time, despite the fact that they are very clearly this duo, and we as a fan base have constantly talked about them together, it doesn't feel like the house is really focusing too much on them. Despite the fact that it's like, oh, these 2 specifically were the ones who drove the flip and everything last week. It doesn't feel like they are getting the same. There's the same gravitas towards them as a couple as there was to even like Brooklyn and Chelsea today from Tucker.
And I think to put a bow on this, why is T-Core and Chemo going to get away with this?
I don't know.
It's Tucker's house.
Yeah.
You need to, like, this type of gameplay kind of falls apart early jury, but as long as we imply and do what Tucker probably is okay with, we're going to be fine. And like, it's going to seem like we're flip-flopping, but we actually just voted Cedric and Brooklyn out, and we instigated the Cedric and we were stalwart on the Brooklyn. And so now if it flips, or if it's like T-Core and Chemo get to be the deciding votes on which one of the Joseph, Quinn, and like let's just pretend the AI arena is all over, and like McKinsey, let's just say McKinsey, Joseph, and Quinn are up for some weird reason because Tucker won the veto. McKinsey goes up. That doesn't even make sense of who would do this, but let's just go. T-Core and Chemo are going to be, here's what we're going to do in all three of the scenarios, and it all goes through them. And it's because they're in Tucker's house that this is never going to backfire on them.
I really hope somebody other than the three people you named wins the HOH this week and doesn't have the wherewithal to throw. Because I really want, at this point, people to have to declare their allegiances in this house. Because I think it's what gives us another fun week, right?
I'm on Team Tucker.
Yeah. Everyone's doing it, but everyone can't be on Team Tucker because somebody has to go up. So, I don't know. We might be in for a dull week this week. I think the week after that, because if anyone from the Tucker side wins, probably Cam or Chelsea going home. Probably.
It can't be dull because Tucker's going to win AI Instigator and be like,
oh, that's true. He's going to
T-Core
the entire time.
T-Core is betraying Chemo. Watch out.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think we're at a very interesting point in the season. The season's obviously been incredibly entertaining. I think as a fan base, people have been into this season a lot more than they have been into previous seasons. Yes, last season we had Suri in the house, and it really drove up a rile in the fan base, and everyone was really jazzed by it. The year before that, we had a lot of bad things happening in the house that turned a lot of people off the show. I think this is the exact type of season Big Brother needed to become incredibly popular again.
Yes. And us doing a podcast helps.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally not coincidental whatsoever.
Well, speaking of podcasts, join us again Monday at noon Western. What is it called? Pacific, 3:00 Eastern, and we'll be talking about. Like I'm gonna probably refresh my phone right now to see if anybody wanted HOH. Yeah. Romulus was good if you were caring about that. I don't know if I told you guys about it on Monday, but go watch a movie this weekend and line it up during the veto competition so you don't even miss any feeds.
There you go.
But that's week 5.
It is. It's a fun one. We'll see what happens moving forward. Blake, thanks again for having me. Blake, talking to you as always.
We should just do it, all three of us. Poor McKenna. You know.
Goodbye, everyone.
I just have to go.